I'm going till Sunday. Okay, so we're almost at the completion of Reish Tes, the Perek Reish Tes. The Maskana of the Ayin of the two Oifani, the two Sidrei Hamshocha, the Hamshocha Mitzad Seder Hishtalsheles, which also includes in the Tzad Ayin of Cyrus, but they're Lamailami Liva Olu, Afu Pikain. They're all included in the Rotzen Kodum Afinian Hishtalsheles Pilvad. And then we saw there was a Seder Lamailami Hishtalsheles, and both of those Sidrei HaMshocha Mekoirom HaMshochosim is in Moichen Stimua and the Union of Cyrus Kenisko. However, the Seder Ashayach L'Hishtalsheles is from what we call the Moisrei HaMoichin of Moichen Stimua. Only a Ha'ora how Moichen Stimua is shayach to Inyan Ha'arich, which is already Chitzengis Akesa. That's already a Ha'ora. And since the Etzem is a Ha'ora, so then all the Inyanim which are Nimshochim from it are Derech Ha'ora, the Ha'ora. And therefore the Cyrus Inyanim is only Derech Tzimtum on Miut, till we call it in from Moisrei HaMoichin, Ve'ilu, the Lamaila Mishtalsheles, Shorsha is in Moichen Stimua, how it's a Kli, and how Mislabish and Misachid in Moichen Stimua, Reisha the Lois Yada. We didn't announce what it was. We have to announce that it's Tes Oil Tes Ayin. Wait a minute, Oil Yutai and Kislev, Toshin Samaches, Hemshech Ayin Beis, so this is working, Hemshech Ayin Beis, Omud Tov Kof Dalet, the Kitzur, according to the Kitzur of chapter Reish Tes. How Pnimius Atik had the Pnimius Mamish Atik Reisha de Lois Yada is Mislabish and Miskala in Moichen Stimua, and then the Hamshocha is a Hamshocha of the Etzem Mamish. And we saw that when we talk about Hamshocha Etzem, well, that means that the Etzem itself is Miskala and Nimshoch, because Kol Etzem is not Nimshoch, only a Ha'ora Mimeno, that's already the Union of Hishtalsheles. That's the Chiddush of this Hamshocha is that the Etzem itself is Nimshoch, and that's the Union of the Tzimtzum Ha'atzmi Derech Tzinoiros HaCyrus. We saw the Chalolim and Tzinoiros of the Cyrus. And we saw Hamshocha as well. I think that's what we're holding. We've got 3 or 4 lines before the end of Reish Tes. Hamshocha Zu Gedoilo V'Atzuma Lamalish Kol HaPagomim. But that's able to be Mamali Kol HaPagomim Mimesh Kol HaShona, and that's the Hamshocha on Yom Kippurim, or the Beklal, the Hamshocha of Tishrei and Siyum HaShona. Lamalish Kol HaPagomim Lefi shehi Hamshocha Mibchinas Antu Shleimusa Dechulhu V'Antu Mamali Kol Shmohon. In other words, Davki because your Shleimusa Dechulhu Gilui Tataynu Shubamatzi or Mamish Atzmas, how it is in Moichen Stimua, Reisha de Lois Yada. That's the Shleimus of the Atzmas Mamish, Shleimusa Dechulhu. That's Mamalei Kol Shmohon. So we have to say that the Biyun, that Loshen Mamalei Kol Shmohon, is not just that it's a oya pnimi and nimshach into the shemes, even though it's mekayim them, but oya pnimi. No, we also the mashmoy is here being mamalei kol shmohon. If there's been a chisoron and a pagam in those shmohon, then this oil, being as it is, mishleimus atzmas, it's able to be mamalei, meaning matakin, and fill up all the gaps and the chisrenas that came about through inyonim which weren't lafia kavana mitzad ramata. And that's a pshat mamalei kol shmohon.
What's the translation of the word shmohon?
Shmohon is shemois. Shmohon is the plural for the word shem in Aramaic. Shemois means the union of the kelim. The liyesei bebchinas shleimas ba'etem al kein hu mamalei kol shmohon. In other words, it's mamalei all of the kelim and all the shemas how they are in the Esesphiras Datzilas. And because as one else is Mavaya the Alter in Shara in the Tchilas Igeres HaTshuva, that alidei the Pagamim and alidei inyonim of Chet v'Orin and inyonim bilti rutzuyim, well that causes a chisoron in the kelim v'chulu. Therefore this oil is such a atzmistic oil, such a oil atzmi that it's mamale kol achisorenes oilu. Zehu keshemen hatoiv al haroish yored al hazokon. That's a pasuk in Tehillim. Certain beneget Aaron HaKohen, like the shemen hatoiv al haroish, and which is yored al hazokon. So we say that the union from shemen hatoiv, Yehu Pchinas Atik is well known. Shemen hatoiv means the union from Pnimis Atik, Mamish. And that's Yored al Arish, meaning on the union from the Makif, how it's Yored, this serves BM is Makif to the union of all the Esesphiras, to Chokma Gluya, but it comes through the union of Zokon. What Zokon we saw was the union from Sairos, and here we have to say it's Nimshuk, but even Pnimi in the Sairos Kufa, being as it is, Aham Shocha Achmiyah. The Shemen HaToivu Pnimis Atik. V'nimshir b'moiches timor datika. It comes into the union from moiches timor of atika mamish. Now that's an interesting lotion. Moiches timor of atika, not atika how it is in moiches timor, but moiches timor of atika. So we see that that's an interesting tziruf for the lotion. In other words, that moiches timor is mamish shy to atik, even though it's already the chokhmah of arik. Ome moiches timoa nimsha b'chinas ha'atzmus derech halal hasayres. So l'chera he teaches them slightly differently. That he teaches it the shemen ha'teva al haroish. That's in the union how the shemen ha'teva mamish pnimius atik is misyachid with moiches timoa. It's mislabish and misyachid. That's the union of shemen ha'teva al haroish. Moiches timoa being the union from Moyach is the union from Roish. Yored al Zokon is how that's Nimshach, the Sairis of the Zokon from Moiches Timoa into the Esesphiras Flamat. Atzmas derech cholol asairis. And we see here each time the Rebbe is madgish beneget to the Sairis from Atik, that the Kavona is the Pnimis of the Sairis. And as we spoke about that Barichas in the previous Shurim. ובכדי להמשיך מבחינת י' ג' תחין לדיקנה בשורש המשוחוסם מבחינת עצמס מויכס תימוה זהו שממשיכים על ידי תשובה. That's precisely like we saw, not stam tshuva, not tshuva, ממעמקים, מאויmek לאויmek, what is the union of tshuva, meumke de liebe. Like we medactic earlier in this particular maima, there's two different madregas in the union von Amkus or Oimek Pnimis Alev. There's the union von Oimek which can nonetheless come into some form of voices, and then there's a union which is Lamaila even Mizeh, a union von Tzaiches Alev Kipshute. But that's Tshuva Mi Umke in the Lev Gufa, the union von Oimek. And Ali Dezeh, we come to the union von Atzma Saint Seif, how he's Nitza Malubish in the union of Moiches Timoa. So we see that you're undergoing your jet lag, in quite a heroic fashion over there. Nonetheless, the jet lag is smiting him in the midst of a Shirinayim Beis. So he said, Hine Hamshoches, to say the Ishtaushel Umi Arich Anpim. That's from the Etzem Madrega of Arich. But that's the Inim Rotzen Al Hoachilas. We pointed out, Arich is Inim Rotzen, and Atik is Tainu. Rotzen, in this particular case, the Rotzen, how it's Mishkale Almanas Lahovi Esesphiras Tachilas, which means that it's already shy to the Inim of Seder Hishtaushel or Elamas. Sham Shocha Hirach Haora, Mipnei Shakama Etzem Hirach Haora. Even though that Shocha comes from very high in Arif, and like we said, it comes from Moiches Timor also, but that's the Indian of Chitonius Moiches Timor. How Moiches Timor is in that regard only a Haora Bilvad, not the Amitis Pnimius of Moiches Timor. But the Liyos Rach Shoyrush Laner Tzolim, Tzorik Liyos Aliyadei Sidus, and since he's Indian from Ashoirish to the Indian of Nertzolim, or he's Rotzen, he's an Indian from Makif Lagabi Nertzolim, and therefore has to be an Indian from Sidus, but it's Michitonius Moiches Timor Bilva. And that's what we saw was and that's what he's medatic in the brackets, that even the Etzem is only a Ha'or, it's only Chitonius Moiches Timor. However, the whole Seder of how it is the Amshocha Milmailam is Seder Ishtaushus, who Amshocha me Pnimius Atik Mamish, Reisha Delois Yada, we pointed out that's the Rosh HaGimel of all the Gimel Rosh HaRoshim, like the Alter Rebbe's Medactic Bimfurish in Lakutei Torah and the Drushim for Yom Kippurim, that Reisha Delois Yada Velois Isya. Eloi Isyada, that's the lesson in the very early, what's called that, Sefer Tznius in Idmeli. One of the early Sifrei Kabbalah, that the Pirush of the Arizal, Allah Sifrei Tznius, Pirush Talmud Arizal. He brings over there Lo Yoda, Lo Isyada. In other words, it's so great and so Atzmias, Bechina Taktoina, Shepamai Tzil Mamish, it doesn't even know of its own self. It's not known to other Bechinas Lamata Himenu, it's not even known in its own self. That's what the Alter Rebbe doesn't even know what it is, because it's so botil, it doesn't even feel that it's any Indian klal. I feel a Indian botil. It's just bittul be'etzem mamuz. And as far as Reisha Delois Yada, Etzem Nimshach, Mipnei Shezel Lamayla Mihelim Gilu, and that's what we were married, if you remember in last week's Shio, that why is the whole Indian demand that if there's any Gilu from this Indian, then it has to be the Etzem itself, because when we talk about Lamayla Miyishtaus, we mean Lamayla Mihelim Gilu Gam Yacha. This is really not trying to say it's Mizkale, it's not trying to say it's Nimshach. So if it is, then it's only the Etzem itself is Yored and Mischaber with the Madrega Shalamata. Chorik Liya is Kan Kain Derek Ma'avir or Ma'avar Asairis. We saw that they have to come through the Ma'avar of the Sairis, and that's the Pnimis of the Sairis. How the Etzem passes through the Cholol of the Sairis. Shalidei, and when we compared that to the Indian of the Mashpech, Shalidei Ma'avir Yuchel is Kabul Lamata. In other words, that's a very fascinating symptom which fetches it somehow together in order that it should be able to be Yoired Klapei de Makablim, of it remains what it is be Emes. That's the great Chiddush, that even though that Etzem is Mishkala in the Lamata, nonetheless the Makabel remains per Kiyuma, and he's not Mishbatal Agami B'Mtiyusay. But who Bechinas Pnimius, and we have to say that that's Mitzat the Kavona Ayin, the Kavona Ayin is Sof wants that. And therefore that's an Asinus Koyat that the Makabel shouldn't be Mamish Mishbatal B'Mtiyusay. And there's also other inyonim b'zeh, alidei Yizaveda, alidei Tikkun Kli Shaloi, alidei Aveda Shaloi, he also becomes a certain Kli to be Makabel that, or that Kli. Al Chaponim, Yuchal נשכב למטה, והוא בחינס פנימיוס י' ג' תיקוני דיקנו בכלל, ומזל ונעצר בפרט. Here we go back to this very fascinating expression, the mazel ונעצר. What we saw, the different lashonos and tiktukim v'negei lezeh. בפרט, שנמשך מעומק לעומק. What that's the union from pnimius, atik and moichasti, oimek and oimek are those two inyonim. But pnimius atik is mamish, reisha delois yada, and that's misgala and mishacha and nimshach, mislavish in moichasti moa. Ubchina shemen ha-tui. But that's the union. What shemen b'chlal is pnimius, shemen as is one on. The union from pnimius ha-chochma. So in this particular movement, it's the that's why it's called shemen ha-tuiv, the union of tuiv ha'atzmi from pnimius atik. Well, having Beis many hamshachas hanal. In order to understand more of those two hamshachas be'ika, shorsha is ishtausheles or elemes, and the second hamshacha, which is be'ika mitzad lamayla mi'ishtausheles, Beis lahachtim tchilo Mashikosu shemen ukteres yesamach leiv. We stay taught Mesek riyehu miatzas nofesh. It's a pasuk in chapter Kov Zayin in Mishlei. Very famous. There's Maimonic Siddur from the Rebbeim on that pasuk. Shemen ukteres yesamach leiv. So Rashi learns over there bepashtes that shemen ukteres, wie kommen sie zusammen? Shemen is a liquid and kteres is a how do you call it, a cloud of reach. Was kommen sie zusammen? So Rashi says that the kavanah in shemen is also the reich of shemen afar simayin. As they bring Rashi, there's a very famous shemen of the afar simayin, which is it's well known. It's got a very amazing reich. But down in the Zohar Kodesh become a mekaymes. It's indicative of a very high madrega, pnimis amachi, v'chulu. Mamela shemen ukteres means that both of these inyonim are ayin for makiv. Now one is mitzad what you might call a noizal, a gush noizal, and one is mitzad ayin for ketoir. As he learned Rashi. And then Rashi brings different perushim in the hemshech of the pasuk. He brings two psukim in umesek riyehu miatzas nofesh. Al chaponim mesek riyehu means the sweetness of a good friend. L'chol perushim means that if you show you chava, Beis shaloi, you show him a good face, you show him in friendship and let mitmitem v'chulu is das adova tov v'niflo. That's Rashi. So Rashi just learns that it's not necessarily talking about anything miyuchad. It just means that you can have things which produce a good reach, and they're called keteros beifim kloli, and you can have a shemen which causes a reach, and that's, for example, a shemen like shemen mafas. However, comes along the Rebbe now and he says, "Isa bebechaye reish parsha titzave v'shema medrash." Now, it's one on it. The Rabbeinu Bechaye, if you look in his Pirush al Torah, at the beginning of every parsha, he's got like a sort of he makes like a whole sort of a Musa drosha at the beginning of before he gets into his Pirush al each parsha. And what he usually does is he brings a pasuk from Berova Makaimas, he brings a pasuk from Mishlei. And he does in that pasuk, and he shows how it's got a shaykhs to the parsha which is about to be dealt with. And he's mafli the Indian of Chokmah Shlomo HaMelech, and how the Indian of Shlomo HaMelech can be seen as the things that he said are shaykhs to this parsha, and the yichud of the divrei Kabbalah with the divrei Torah, and the ganze arichas that he brings there. He does it by every parsha with a beli yitzim and a klal, the Rabbeinu Bechaye. So when the Rebbe brings there Rabbeinu Bechaye reish parsha tetzaveh, that's not already inside the psukim of it, but it's in this like Hakdoma. And he still took up them posik before Parsha Tetzaveh, which deals with the menorah right at the beginning, and also deals, behemshon. At the end of Parsha Tetzaveh mentions the Keteres. It's Dorit, the Rabbeinu Bechaye brings that posik Atik Shemen Ukteres Yisamach Leiv V'Mesek Riyeu Mi'atas Nofesh. And he says B'Shem HaMedrash, because at the beginning he learns a whole Indian B'derech HaMusa B'Pashto. And then later he says the Rabbeinu B'Chaye, V'Hinei B'Medrash, and then he dashens more Lafi Ruach HaMedrash. But it's just interesting at the beginning. It's amazing how the great Mephoshim like the Rishonim, how they saw everything. They saw Kshonim Bein Inyan LaInyan. They sort of talk in a very direct way. The same when you learn sometimes the Ramban and others, you just get this amazing sort of Giluya, Musari of Giluya, B'kol Minei Inyonim, that their words are so full of Dag Sheines, B'chochma Elokis. So he brings a Gor and Onims. It's very interesting. Just by the way, it's not really shot to the Hemshech of the Maim of B'chlau. It's just interesting. The Rabbeinu B'chaye teaches over there that Ketores and Shemen mean Poshik Pshutei, the rayat that comes off from a tavshil, from a good prepared Michael that you do for somebody who needs to be, needs encouragement and help. That's what he learns. If you cook and you matriach yourself, especially, I say like the Rabbeinu, for a mensch, what he's in he's in a state where he needs yidud and he needs help and he needs encouragement. And that's the Ayin from Ketores, and that's the Ayin from Shemen, and that gives off a beautiful reach, and that's better even than all the H's that you give it. Sometimes you've got to just push it, keep sure to look after him in such a way he'll smell, something being cooked, and he'll smell something being done for him. But Pashtus Begashmi is, and the help to Marois, then that's even better than Mesik Riyehu. Well, it's at least not worse. It's more to him. And then it goes on, Mesik Riyehu, to show him a sweetness is better than all the H's that they're going to do. And he brings it up, Befat, interessant, taste is Ayin. Befat, when I get to a Geo Tzedek, he says to somebody, I find bringt tot Ayin, it's auch in Yonim, pity ployers. He said that a mensch, has left things behind and he's gone over to another country, another way of life. And he said he needs it specially. Some men stuff and they miyuchad cooking him a Michael, and he should be able to smell, that the world around is interested in assisting him. I say something like that. It's mamish b'derech pele. When I saw it, I was, at Kerikata, Rabbeinu B'chai's medachtik in every little Indian, and then he goes on. When he's finished with that particular, and then he says this in here, B'Shem HaMedrash. That's Kil B'derech HaPashtus V'Amusa. And then he says B'derech HaMedrash, and I hooked on with this in here. Shemen HaManoiro. He teaches that the Ayin from Shemen is referring to the Shemen of the Manoiro. Shehoye Mishkarev Bizman HaKetoros. In other words, how comes Shemen together with Ketoros? So Rashi learns that they're both good things that give off the smell. He learns now that the Shemen and the Ketoros are together because in the Beis HaMikdash they were brought at the same moment, that they're sort of linked together by the pasuk. Shenema uvahalos arenes haneres beino arboim yaktirena. We see that whenever he brought in the Indian of the Shemen for the menorah, he was going in kilo to be mak to the Ketoros. Beis Hazman, he lit the menorah. I say l'choyre is the way the Rebbe learned it. Not that he went in to light the menorah and he lit the Ketoros. He was going over the Ketoros, and therefore but kilo Ketoros mizu. He didn't make a special entry only for the menorah. He was going in for the Ketoros. Before he got to the Ketoros, he made the menorah. But kilo, we'll soon see an interesting deal in that. Anyway, the two things come together. Mitzad the Seder of the Avodah in the Beis HaMikdash. And what's Mesamech Leiv? So he says Mesamech Liboy Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Taich the Rabbeinu B'chai Kor. Interessant. Mesamech Leiv means the Eibishter. And particularly that Rashi brings over there in the Hemshech of the pasuk, Mesek Riyehu Yeah, mi'atzos nofesh, Rashi learns pshat mesik reyehu refers to the Eibishter. You have to make your deeds mesukim lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He said that's much better than looking after yourself. Atzos nefesh is looking after your own taiva. Rashi bimkom sheyimale taiva sliboy. He should try to make his ma'asim sweet in front of the Eibishter. An amazing Rashi. Taich Rashi reyehu might the Eibishter. Like he brings over there, but again in the Sugya daughter about the guy that he came and he said to the Hillel that he wants to learn the whole Torah. So he said to him, "Madasani loch you don't do what is hateful, you don't do to your chava." And then Rashi brings over that really is the union from the after Re'acha Komoicha, and that's referring to the first pshat Rashi learns over there. But you have to look after the Eibush. You have to make sure that you do everything in a way that the Eibush will be pleased. It's a very fascinating idea. The same thing here that Rashi learns that the Reyehu in the Hemshech is referring to the Eibush. So if he said it'd be good, the way the Rabbeinu Bechaya teaches it, B'Shem HaMedrash, it means that Mesamach Leiv who of the Eibush. V'im Kain Koi al HaTorah HaKtorah Shebechol Yoim al HaMizbeach HaPnimi. In other words, that the Rabbeinu Bechaya learns that the Pasuk is talking b'Shem HaMedrash about two avodas in Kol Yom b'Beis HaMikdash, and they're connected one with the other. We see that the whole Inyan of the Shemin is Bisman Ha'aloises. So the Pasuk makes it look as if Ha'alois Ha'aneiros Beinu Abayim Yachtireno is kilo that the menorah is the main purpose of his going in. He's going in for the menorah. He should light the ketera, or maybe we say no, he's going in for the ketera, so maybe he should light the menorah. That's kilo. It's interesting, which is kilo that, which is that. So look what the Rebbe writes. He writes an interesting thing. He says, "You can't call it the Ktosh B'Lavim Hacham." Yeah. על המזבח הפנימי, שנמשך על ידי זה שמן המנורה. In other words, the Rabbi Kilo learns that the Ika is the Ketera. And by going in to be Makti, the Keteras, well, that was Kilo caused the Amshach of the Shemen. Mamela the Shemen had to be. But not that the Ika was the Shemen, and since you're already going to the Shemen, do the Menorah. No. This is you're going in. And therefore, how do we say every day in the Abaya Masada, we say, Tovish Chamish Neres, Keteromusly, Tovish Teineres, Keteromusly Toires, Toires Levorim. So we see that before he lit the lights, and then he got to the Keteros. But that could be because that's the way to say the. Well, I don't know. You would have to walk past the Mizbech Pnimi to get to the menorah. So I mean, it's not the first thing he met up with. He met up with the first of all. Nonetheless, he went past that, and that we wouldn't call that Ma'avir Nalam.
That's talking about the morning. Maybe it's different in the evening. Maybe it's different in the evening.
Well, I doubt it. I mean, I wouldn't think it's any different in the evening. And on the contrary, he brings over the Torah Shnir Shel Kitor. Yeah, but in pastures, it's hard to say that there's any difference between the morning and the evening. Right. Aval Chapanim says the Rebbe that the Shemen of the menorah is Nimshech Alidei the Haktor Sakteres, because he says Nimshech Alidei Zeh Shemen HaMenorah. It's interesting. Diuku. So we could say that the Keteros is Makiv. The Keteros is Ayin. Gavoya B'Yisa. And Ayin from the Haktoros Aneres is Yadua. Let's try to avoid the Pnimis from the Nishomes and the Artera and the Terat Maya and the Ayin from Bir Hamidas for Chulu. That's really more like a Ayin from Pnimi, albeit they are Pnimi from Torah, or they are Pnimi Haris Mitaravedus Hashem. But first of all, you have to have the Makif, and then Mikoyach the Makif, all the good things come Alidei Zeh. And that would be the pshat. Why it is that Davki Ali de the Keteris is Nimshak the Inyan of the Shemen HaMenorah. In other words, that the Keteris is Kilo Inyan Atzmi V'Kloli Yesam Inyan HaMenorah. I say we could maybe say B'derech Efsha. And if Ali de that is Davki is Nifal the Inyan of the Shemen HaMenorah. V'imkein וידוע שהיה עוד עבודה בקטורת תהיה מקיפורים לפני לפנים. It's one of those another Indian in Keteris, which was the Keteris he took into the Kodesh HaKadoshim b'Yom HaKippurim davke, and he was had a called Mamala Kol Kodesh HaKadoshim with the Anan HaKeteris, as it's called in the Pasik, and then he was Mazeh the Dam al Ben Abadim and the whole thing. That's called Lifnai Ulev Lifni. Tzarich loima shali deizeh mamshichim bavadai b'chinas shasheman. If we said that the ordinary keteres in the heichal, well, that's mamshich and davki b'schuzeh ki nimshach and miskala the inyan from shemen. Then we have to say that inyan and keteres that went into that must be zicher mamshich, another type of shemen, a form of shemen. So the Rebbe says we have to say it's another type of shemen, which is l'mayla minyan ha'menorah. So we have to say that that's not misparish yet exactly what shemen does is. And therefore we say v'tzarik loima v'imkein tzarik loima sheyesh beis madregas big toiras or beis madregas ba shemen. It follows it. If we're going to say that whenever you marich, you marry the Keteres, and you permit Ali Deizeh, you mamshich and megala ayin shel shemen, as in wherever you go, Keteres kilu ha'toitzav, and there is a shemen. We have to say there's another type of shemen, God will which is nimshach Ali Dei that Keteres lifnai lifnim. The Rebbe said nimshach to tvei bechinas, two in both of those factors. So it's very tantalizing to know what are those inyonim. So first of all, we have to go Ovin zeh tzarik lahoktim tchila inyan ha'toira. Zainochanami. We'll have to come to the view of these inyonim. Both Aliyah and Kol Yom in the inyan of the Vedas Apnim, and Aliyah b'Yom HaKippurim. Because where are we holding it tomorrow? We're holding on Cholamoid Sukkos. This Bible is a Cholamoid Sukkos. So that's where we're holding. So we're sort of like, we're between the different Amshachas, after the Lifnai or Lifnim, and then there's the Gilead of the Anana Keteres, and the Shchacha Sukkah, and so they took Tchon, and a Machiv, which is going to be Nimshach, so in the Pnimis, and I'm going to do it. So we'll see that there's a Shaykhas, Bein Kol Inyanim Ha'eile. V'hinei, Isa B'pri Eit Chayim, the Yud Aleph Samamonei HaKtoiras, that's one we reckon out every day when we say the Inyan of the Keteras, that there are 11 of the Samamonim of the Keteras. What are they? He said, Hein Eser Nitzutzei HaKedusha Shel Oyer Pnimi HaMachayei Es HaKlipos V'yesh Nitzutz Echod Shel Oyer Makiv. And that makes Echad. In other words, there was some form of Nitzutz, which is really Mitzad the Pnimi, which is like we might say, B'tachti Samadregas of the Pnimi, the Kedusha. And that some way or another, I'm using that expression for the moment, finds its way into the Eser Bechinas of the Klippos and is Machayed. But there's another Indian altogether, another big, what you might call Nitzutz, and he's a Nitzutz Kloli, and he is Benoisaf, because he's a form of a Makiv, Al Kora Klippos. Who Indian Yud Aleph Kesorim de Misabusar Now, this is the famous Lashon brought down by the Alter Rebbe. Well, he doesn't actually bring that Lashon. He brings in Tanya Perivo, he brings Esek Ksorim, not Yudala. He brings over there. Al Chapon in the Lashon Ksorim, the Misabuza, that does occur. Yeah. And Pamira, we got here a very fascinating idea. That we got clippers, and there's a Ayin from Oyer the Kedusha, albeit by even Nitzoitzis Bilvad, that enters them. And then you got another Klali, Makifi, which is Makifas Kulam, but it's counted together with the Yud. In other words, it's called Dafki 11. So, I mean, if you count it together with the Yud, then it must be somehow or another Shayach and Ahemshach from the Yud. And therefore it's Yud Aleph. So he puts in brackets, for Nira, Da Yud Nitzutzis, Haim Bechinas Pnibahem. We could say that these Yud Nitzutzis, which are Nimshach from the Esses Filas to Kedusha, we have to say Beis in Tatoina Bahem. Aber upon him the Nimshach, or they are in for Oya Pnimi, Vachenu B'Shahaka Kavonas. It's brought down a similar in the Shah Kavonas when the Rizal, and over there he writes that those Yud Nitzutzis are Machayim as a Klippers, and Nimshachim B'Pnimis in the Klippers. But he says, a very interesting thing, Ach, Ikar Achayus Shalehem Hu Me'oyer Mach. The Ikar Achayus from the Klippers and from that Yud Aleph, yeah, that how do you call it, Samamana Yud Aleph, but that's, if I'm not mistaken, it's brought down, that's a Levina Zachor, we say, this, Levina Zachor, it's an extra thing. In other words, that's Ayin from Levina, Ayin from Pshitas, and Lovan, Ayin from Makiv. So the Rebbe goes on now, he says a very fascinating Inyan. The Ikar HaChai Shalehem Hu Me'oyer Makiv. Now, he doesn't mean like we say in Kedusha, the Alter Rebbe said in Tanya, Perik Mem Ches, the Ikar HaChai of everything is from the Sefer Kol. I don't mean everything is from the Koyach HaMakiv, but that's the Koyach HaAtzmi, and that's the Rotzen HaAtzmi. And everything, the Ikar Chayes in the sense of the Ikar fact that everything came about, Yesh Mi'ayin, is from there. So what does he mean that the Ikar Chayes is from Amakiv? What he means is that even their Chayes, but their Pnimi, is really from the Makiv. And therefore he said, Ukishamashirim Oyer Makiv, Hareim Meisimu Misbatlim. If you take away their Oyer Makiv, they're just Misbatler Lagamri. We have to say that the Pnimi, which is in them, doesn't in any way preserve them if you take away the Oyer Makiv. Mashiach, we could say in Kedusha, even if the Oyer Makiv is not Pegoli, or Mitzad Isat, there's a Inyan from Helem, Lagabi the Oyer Makiv, nonetheless, the Chayes Pnimi Beis Yu'even, Ulai Lo B'Toikif, Ulai Lo Bofen Arogil, but it appears that there would be a Hemshah. But if you may sear the Oyer Makiv, meaning that the Makiv is Mispatil, and it doesn't have any hashpoah on them anymore, then they become completely lost. Now, where do we see that? It's put down by the Meraglim that when the Yidden started to say, "Oh, how can we go in with all the things?" So Kolev said, what did he say? He said, "Sor Chilom, Me'alehem." That how do you call it? The tzel has gone away from them. And we can just eat them up. In other words, he said we have nothing to worry about because the Avshis can take away their makiv, so tzilom me'aleim, and there's nothing to worry about. We'll just eat them. we'll just absorb them. In other words, they'll be mispatel mikol teikum shalem, and they'll be kilo deloyoyu. And we see that once you take away the sol tzilom, tzil and tzil me'aleim. They have no meaningful Machias anymore, they just become Mispatli Mumaishim. Achamisha Kosu, but pre-H Chaim, Shara, Sierra, Perictali. I had a Chivazay, because with that Pnimi, what's it doing there, If the whole Chayzim man is Vidamakim. And and you take away the chayes pnimi, you take away the chayes hamakiv, there's nothing left. So he said, v'tzodik loima mipnei sha'er pnimi hu b'chinas bliya bohem. In other words, why is everything tolu in the makiv? Because even though we said that there's a certain chayes which comes out the pnimi, from the Eser V'Dus, he said that's really, how do you call it, it's there, but it's not there. It's nimshul bohem, but ain't there must speak that if the makiv goes, then there's not enough gilui or chayes in the pnimi to keep them going. Why? He said because it's not really b'ishyachtos v'ishyashvus itam in the normal way of an pnimi. It's not machaya der kelim and miyachid with der kelim b'derech harogil, not she'inim from bliya bilvad. V'yal kein eino b'bchinas chayim lohem ki im ha'or makim. In other words, the Torah's Eser Netzutzis of b'bchinas bliya bilvad, and the ik is the ha'or makim. And Mamela, the Eser Netzutzis don't really have the ability to do anything if you take away the ha'or makim. Now that would be nicha. What's brought down in Siddur become a makayim that Yisrael wanted the bench. I'm sorry, Yitzchak wanted the bench. Esau. So brought down that had that been nimshach on him, then either would have been just nivla b'toicha, it would have been bliya b'toicha, it wouldn't have been really pearl on him anything, or he would have just been completely and utterly mispatio altogether. So he brings it. So if we see, according to the first day or the first Gilsa, or the first Dinyan, we see even from Bliya that there would have been a high oil in Kedusha, or that would have come down in as our even that it was Bliya b'toichoi. Yeah? In other words, this would have gone in without any ashpur, without any inyanim, would have been nivla b'toichoi. So I thought the Shaila, what are these Eser Netzutzis doing? You know, why does he begin by saying that the pre-age Chaim says that they're Epsiya Machayim? It's Epis in Epsiya. The Makiv, take away the Makiv, they just drop out. It's ain't function, and that's stage Bliya. You know, this Balua, ain't a kilo. It's there, but it doesn't really affect anything. It's swallowed up. So, אולי יש להם בדרך אפשר. Is that you find in Perek Vov, and later on in Woodis, in the Gersa Kredish, chapter 25, where he talks about the Islam's Klippe, the Alter Rebbe says, Altar Shidenish, and he went to the famous Richa, the Alter Rebbe, is, it's written in both places that there's Nimshach HaNitzutz from Malchus, Dasia, the Kedusha, and into the Klippers, and that's Nimshach Q B'toichol. That's Nimshach Slavshah. But the Alter Rebbe says in Perek Vov that it's Nimshach of a Sof, it doesn't really poil with it, but there are Pnimi, nor Ike Pulosi Behem who B'derech Makiv. This is what the Alter Rebbe in Perek Vov taught. When I get I feel it to the Nitzut, which is supposed to be Pnimi, it doesn't really be Mislavish and a Mamish Pnimi, but even it remains an Oivim for Makiv to a certain extent. Amira Nimtza, what's with the ink came with the Etzeman Nitzut, if it's Nimshut to them, what happens to it? So we should say that that's Bechinas Bliya. Or it does have a certain effect, and it also has a certain Shpur Aleim B'derech Makiv Pilvad, and that joins up with the general Indian of the Makiv Klali, and so it becomes like one Makiv. Now, why do I say that? Because it's brought down in Siddur in certain places, and I say it's mashma here also, that Makiv is the Ikechais of all of them. So come to us that Makiv has got to do with all of them. So Yesh Leimah, that all of them have a certain Makiv, mitzad the Nitzutz itself, and they all join in together, and it's all like one Makiv, and therefore they're chayes, and they are two different inyanim. Not just mitzad one aspect of them, but not all of them. They're all like that. Amira Zainicha, the Loshen Yudal of Kisorin, the Misa Buza, because Lachayv only got one kes, and the rest of it's Pnimi. No, he says all Yudal of them are all Kisorim. So what does I say Kisorim? They're Makifim. even the pnimium are really makif. Kain yesh lema v'derech hefsher and lefisa. If we learn it that way, I think it's misyashi. Think carefully about it. And then what's the good? What we call them yudalav kisorim the misabusa. And I mean, you can touch kisorim in different ways, but a keser is a makif. He's a makif biyika, but he's a makif with all things together. I mean, the keser of the melech is what keeps the whole medina going, right? So these types of kisorim, they're really the highest, even though the big makif, they're also like a sort of a pnimi of a sokosof. The real pnimi by him is bablia. The real inan of pnimi is bablia, and the emes type of ashpo what they have a feel bit chayis is makif. The whole thing is makif, and therefore their BM is yudalim, because there's them and then there's their own chayis. And the key there, they're like two separate inyanim legamri, and there's yud and there's another thing altogether called the chayis. There was yud. It's yudal. Kain yesh lema v'derech hefsher. Yeah, if you kain ein befinnes chayes lohem kiim oira maki. Oh, ve'ine atam mashe b'kedusha hey meses spirit davke. Why is it that in kedusha we say only eses spirit? V'isa b'sefer yitzira esa v'loi teisha v'loi achadesrei. That in kedusha the immediate is davke only esa. If in Klippa mitzad the Akiv, then it's Yud Aleph, then why is it that in Kedusha we say lo Yud Aleph? Only Esa. Rabbi said because Uve Sitra Achra hein Yud Aleph. Kisorim. And the Sitra Achra is Tavki 11 and not 10. Hu mipnei שבקדושה הנה החיה שמחייס אס הספירית הוא בתכלס הייחוד עם הספירית. That's the term. We're going to now be married a whole series of heichoches and biurim how the chayes of mamish be shachtas. But that's the mafteach. The mafteach is that in es הספירית the chayes and the makabel are all one yichud gomo betachlis hayishachtas. And therefore you can't separate the chayes from the makabel. And therefore he's 10. And therefore it's only 10. It's loy ta'isha, v'loy echad. It's b'diuk, shleimus hamispo, what does this answer? And that was the Eber's kavanah kachu latzah. V'lo zeh v'lo, lo pachot v'lo yo, ter, as you might say. That's what the Sefer says. Loy ta'isha, v'loy echad. V'yilo b'inyan asitra achar, it's dacha yud aleph. That's like we said, the klolos achayes, lo rach ha'makiv to levein hazaka. The other inyonim are also included in that makiv. It's all makiv. The whole, what you might call significance of the existence of these koiches is a makiv. And therefore, they are one thing, and there's another thing called the chayes. In kedusha b'diuk afuch b'ktei ha'ochi gomo. That the makabel and the kli and the oil are mislavish b'toich and the chayes and all the inyonim, what that oil means, all of them are mamish one after. So therefore you can't possibly one hisyachet. Or you can't talk about any more than whatever the Eibishter meant it to be in the number of the spheres, and he meant 10, so you've only got 10. It's a very famous beer. Okay, 3. Very much clear. Because then, you remember what we spoke about. Who mipnei b'kedusha achayes shemachayes es הספירס הוא בתכלס הייחוד עם הספירס. וכמיימה וההוא נביאו הוא כנשמוס אלה גופו. We bring in Posach Eliyahu, we talk about the Amshocha of the Kav, the union of the who naviu. Well, a naviu means like how they call it a river, something which how do you call it?
Flow.
Huh? First?
A flow.
A flow. Pediu. That's the word. Well, that flowing power which comes out from the Eibishter, well, that is Kenishmasa Gufa. That means a kav. Yeah. And why is it called naviu? Because it's novea. It comes bedera bakia after the Tzimtzum. Well, that's mislavish in the Esesphires. Yeah, Kenishmosele Gufa. The Gufa Heina Sphirish, Heina Kalim. That's one of the concept of Sphira. Is Tafki in the Kalim as we had Barichas in the early part of the Hemshah. and that's the union of and the naviu is the oil, or that's the union of the kav, and that is kenishmosa li gufa, the yachas between the naviu, the hainu the oil, the kav, and the makablim, which are the spheres, but they are the kelim, or that's like the union of a neshama into a guf. Okamaima va'hu naviu ukenishmosa la gufa. וכמו שאומרים לפני זה, וכמה גופים כינס להם. We see that the spheres are called gufim. The actual kelim of the spheres are called gufim. Chesed deroya yamina. Chesed is the right arm. What that's a description which is matim to a guf. The erakav mislavish beteichom hu begins an naviu shehu kenishmos el gufa. He said that's called like a neshama to a guf. Alterat moshu a neshama hamislabeshes beguf hare ima yoish a neshama ima guf em shnei dvarim sheim ruchachim zemizeh betachlis arichu. The guf is in Ashmi. We can even be nimshach in the chumri with the whole ariches. Ve'ilo the inyan a neshama is a chelek elakah v'shorosh a chelek elakah mimal. It's a inyan from Giloi mamish of elakus. So that neshama, nonetheless, mikol mokim, hari ura nefesh mislavish ba'adam, o misyachad imoi bisachtus mamish, ad sha'adam nikro nefesh, ki adam hua, moshekosu ki adam hua nefesh. So we're going here in a couple of shlavim. First of all, we're dealing with it's well known that the dam is the mamutza between the ura nefesh and the guf. It's put down in Tzidus, you got Ruchni Shebagashmi, and you have Gashmi Shebaruchni, and the two of them unite in the dam. And Davki through the dam is you get the Chayas Agu. So the Ike is Galus of the Nefesh is in the dam, not in the actual Gu. But what's going to show is that on both angles, it's Mamish B'tachas HaYichud, the Yichud of the Nefesh with the dam, and the Yichud of the dam with the Guf, both of them are in an even from Actus Gemura. So therefore he begins with the yichud of the nefesh with the dam. Omishachad imoy bisaktas mamish ad shadam nikro nefesh. Akamishikosu ki adam hu hanefesh. In other words, that the dam is the nefesh mamish, meaning that the yichud between them v'ainu it's ad oitzem ma'isaktas hanefesh bihadam. As well known, one of the purim, and that, like we said, that the dam hasn't, so what we call ruchni shebagashmi is, it's got these eidim, dakim, pnimium, what they become as kli to the slabsus of the nefesh. Validei zeh hu isachtas hanefesh ima guf beklal. Validei what you had there, the yichud with the eidim pnimium in the dam. Well, that brings that the nefesh goes down into the guf. In other words, the dam is like a mamutza, which brings to the slabsus the seifiyas of the nefesh in the Eivra Guf. V'shneihem yachad nikroim odom. And both the nefesh together with the guf through the medium of the dam, well, that's called odom. Das heißt der Mensch. In other words, the dam or guf beli nefesh is not a odom. A nefesh beli dam and beli guf is also not odom. And that dafki the two of them together, this is the yichud of Ha'isachtus Nifla, that they become mamish one entity. The aleph hu achayis, v'im adam yachad nikra odom. The aleph is the infant chayis, aleph indicatory of what the nefesh really comes from aluf ishalaylam, and that together with the dam, well, that's called odom. He said, v'chein b'derech klal, through the medium of the dam, the neshama imaguf nikra odom. The dafki when the neshama enters the guf, be slabshas gemura, or then you got a odom. The aguf ifnei atu nikra guf ha-odom, v'chein ha-neshama nikra nishmat ha-odom. Or be skal shneim yachad nikra odom. Dafki, that causes the inyan of odom. Amela will see al derazeh b'chol ha-inyanim in kedusha, not only in the Odom Lamata, but also in the Odom Ha'elyoin, and the Inif and the Spheres, we'll see the Yichud of the Kav with the Spheres, Ad Kedikat, it's impossible to separate between them, they become Mamish Ishachtas Gemura, but that's the Seder B'Kol HaKedusha, that the Chayis and the Elakus and the Makabel become Mamish one Yisach. Mura Achaim Nekroim Al Shem Shemara Al I Aftus is it, what that's union for Odom. And even Lamaila we use the same expression, Odom. Or Elyoin Kaviocho. That's going to be the Hevdel Bain Kolam Adrega Shibakadusha. The Gabi how it is in the Illumas, as we'll see as we go. Along. This Bamela Davis and this is doubtless got to do with Yutas Kislev. Boalena Lateva. We see the Altar ring said the famous Igeras Bapoya Imipetaba, the Geras HaKodesh. He says that the closer you come, Hagbalamayla, when you get a Gili Chesed from the Abish and Nes, that's elevated you up and it's lifted you up close to Him. So you might think, oh, here I am going up, I'm going higher and I'm comfortably nearer to the Abish than I was before. So the Elder says, if you're nearer to the Abish, then you're going to be bottled with Tatas Habitul. That's good of the autumn. As our shiftless that every time he has to have a new chesed. Yasi Avis Beetle Goma, the Avis over, and the Avis helped him come over. Overnight he says, but it's like every time a new beetle and a new is battles. But that's yichud of the earth, with the kelim, at kedikach. The clay, the kegel, he feels the inner of the earth, at kedikach, and he just becomes bottled with tachisar. A beetle. He's got a chayes of game weiter mit beetle. He does everything in an open from beetle to the Emerson come on. I mean, can you hear? What's it?
Will be for bringing.
Huh? Well, I'm going away tomorrow to this for bringing in England to this conference. It's Mashiach Congress. I didn't really think of going because I've been very tired and I'm not feeling well, but they wrote me all sorts of emails. Sent me a couple of phone calls and all sorts of things. I have to come and this and that. And it's good in a way for the yeshiva. I meet up a lot of the old Talmidim. I meet them personally. And, people get to know about the yeshiva. When I was there last time, I sent a bocha over. I sent out to her for a few months. It's important. And particularly, it's very important to be more ear to those people who really just take the Indian from Mashiach, the pashtas, to give them a feeling that their feelings are shared by other people, and that's a good idea. But there should be a big, sign that the people really care about the Rebbe Seiros, when they get to Mashiach, that they're backed and they have friends and they have people that support out of the country. Audio tell. That's one of my reasons for going. One of the other factors in my decision was that this unbelievable, terrible humus is taking place on Yutas Kislev. It's Mabulus and Shmabulus, Rahman and Islam. You don't even know what it is. He doesn't even know.
So that's a good sign.
Huh?
So we did on that side.
Yeah, it's going to be on Thursday. They're opening it on Thursday, which is Yutas Kislev. So I remember when there was one beginning at one time in the Yom, the Rebbe said you should make a big Fabringen. At the same time as they're making Fabringen, you should have his conference. It should be like a conference, a big conference coming together, and that'll be Mevatel there. So they call it the Mashiach Congress. That's not a very big congress. They're coming together with a few Yidden from Belgium, from France, from England. It's very nice, very smart. And Rabbi Kalmanson, and the one from Cincinnati, he comes every year. He's very faithful to the whole thing. And he's very smart. He's a lot of chayes, and he's very clever. He's tremendous. So I thought, meeting of everybody together, B'Shem HaRebbe, B'Shem the Indian and his scholars from Mashiach, and that'll be like his consensus, the Kiddush, it'll be Mevatel. It's also called a congress. That's one of the columns in the whole bit.
Nida Matzah.
Yeah, that's the Nakuda B'Pashtas. Good guys, so can I see you for a second, Benson?
Yeah.
So thanks more for your greetings, and you should be very,